Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your one of Los Fontamin, and welcome back to World of Warplanes. Now, today we're going to be doing something special again, as an aside from Grindfest, because there's currently a contest going on for Black Friday, even though at the time of recording it is very early on Cyber Monday, and I actually have only a few hours to complete this left. Basically, what the deal is, for Black Friday, they have a collection of bundles, varying from interesting to hilariously expensive. Their main bundle is called the Air Force Bundle, and this is a very expensive pack containing 84 premium vehicles, most of which you cannot get anywhere else. So, looking at that, and the questionable state of some of the balanced parts of the game, well, yeah, I sense an opportunity to get a couple special snowflakes here. And, you know, have a bit of bragging rights by having them. However, the contest is a random drawing, so there's really no guarantee that I'm going to actually win. But in order to be entered into the random drawing, you need to get 100,000 cumulative combat points in Tier 4 to Tier 6 aircraft. Which, well, I've actually been collecting quite a few of them off to the side, and I haven't had a chance to actually play most of them on camera, like the BF-110 C-6 here, which we're going to be starting with, but there are a few others. If I don't win first place, which is highly unlikely since, well, highly likely, I should say. Let's not let the narcissism screw the words up today. I am in no means guaranteed to actually win this, but if I don't win first place, there's also second and 10th prize, which gives you the cheapest bundle with a bunch of biplanes. So, well, they're not exactly some of the most rarest Pepes that I could get my hands on, but, well, it's free stuff, so why not try? And hey, I'm good with the dice. So, that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be playing a bunch of odds and end aircraft that I have collected in the premium, premium aircraft that I collected in my hangar, and we're going to blow some things up until we reach 10,000 cumulative combat points. However, I have to track this by hand, because there is no means of in-game of actually tracking this, which is understandable concerning the state of World of Warplanes, but still kind of annoying. Excuse me. But I'll make do with doing math on the side after each game. But, so, let's get started here. We're going to be starting with the BF-110 C-6, which is a very interesting aircraft that I actually initially completely overlooked as I was deciding what line to go down for the Grindfest. I decided on very large cannons with long range. This is a Tier 4 aircraft, and as you can see here, it has a 1 kilometer engagement range with a 30mm cannon. This is basically the Yak 7 or Yak 9 at Tier 4, which, well, I bought instantaneously thinking, oh, well, this has got to be the most amazing thing in the world. As I have found out, not really. Because, as you've seen in some of my Grindfest videos, the Russian heavy caliber cannons seem to have a bit of either aim assist or inaccurate tracers. They are probably far and away the most comfortable large caliber cannons I've actually flown. And I'm using this plane as a sort of scaling, or rather a sort of contest, because if the Yak 7 and Yak 9 planes with their large caliber cannons have some kind of aim assist, this plane has almost no assist. This is actually a very difficult aircraft to fly, but I could still get some fun out of it, and I could still get some results out of it. So let's see if we can crack a couple of pre-war biplanes in half with a very large gun, shall we? Okay, it's Archipelago, which means that we're not actually going to be fighting, well, a horde of biplanes. Thank God. I'm not sure what's going on with this aircraft in comparison to the Russian fighters. This plane is actually... It's very uncomfortable to fly this plane and actually try and hit things. You need to have absolutely perfect aim. And also, it doesn't help that the plane is a heavy fighter, which means that you have to you have to avoid turning fights, because you suck at them. You do have the altitude authority, because you're a heavy fighter. You can point the nose up and go to space. However, that's about the only good thing you have here. And, well, with the heavy caliber cannon, well, it is kind of the plane I wanted to have in a heavy fighter. The thing that I don't like about the XP75 is that it relies on DPM guns that do not have enough engagement range to cause the damage to avoid to, you know, avoid being drawn into a turning fight, or extending an engagement for very, very long, or longer than I want it to be. This plane, well, you've got a 30mm cannon that can pretty much one-hit things if you hit them. Problem is, if you hit them, and I think there might, if there is any plane that somewhat hints to the fact that there is more values for the large caliber cannon's accuracy from nation to nation and plane to plane, I think it's this plane that raises some suspicion. Not confirms, but raises some suspicion. Well, let's see if we can actually get a hit here. It looks like this guy is going to be our first target. Well, got it. Boy, you are all slow today. We're just kind of leisurely flying through here. And unfortunately, we can't one-hit boomerangs. And... see? I can't bring the nose up in a turn, much like I can do with the Yak 7 and Yak 9. Can't bring that up high enough, and so that means those high-angle deflection shots, those trick shots and turns, that seem to connect when they really shouldn't, yeah, they don't... you can't do it in this plane. So this is going to make this plane a little bit more difficult to fly for Tier 4, but it's still an interesting plane to fly in and of itself. And some people who have been watching my videos will note that I am using a plane that is a, well, a designated sniper, and it is blue. Where have we seen that before, Fonto? Quite a few places. But enough of my narcissism, let's try and actually kill things. Oh boy. Bowfighter. Don't want to be in front of the bowfighter. Oh boy. You know, I'm just gonna fly past him. But then again, he's gonna come right at me. I thought my teammates were behind me. I was wrong! Flying away now! I do have a tail gunner in this thing. It looks like I am actually outrunning the bowfighter. How about that? Amazing. Heavy fighters working as intended. However, I seem to have run directly into the rest of the enemy team. Oh boy. Oh, I've made some mistakes. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh, this is gonna be bad. I've entered Morrowind, ladies and gentlemen. Ah! Run away! Run away! Dang! No. Ow. Yeah, that was pretty much just brain dead placement on my part. Well, the match just started, even though they have the mining facility, and I didn't actually assist them in capturing any of the points. I was kind of, well, they had captured all of the points anyway, so now my team is going to spin around and actually attack the mining facility. Remember, folks, pay attention to your team. Even if there are a bunch of bots, if you run into more enemy planes than you, well, you're going to die, is the point. Which is about what we're seeing here, but the only player I'm worried about is this guy. And unfortunately, I can't do anything when they're right in front of my fucking spawn, so I'm just gonna dive, and my audio cut out. Help? Excuse me, folks, you seem to have shot out my ears. One moment here. Okay, there we are. I didn't do anything, it just kind of faded in and out. Apparently I broke the sound barrier diving down, and so therefore I did not have any noise. I think it might actually also have something to do with the orientation, or rather the location of the gun in the plane. It's not in the nose. It's below the nose, which means that you have to pick up the nose even higher in order to hit things. Which means that fuckers like that are gonna squeak away without actually you actually being able to damage them. It's really weird. I've tried to get the hang of it, and honestly, I get mixed results in this plane at best. Get away from me, Aerocobra. Or rather, Aero Bonita. Go away! I can't seem to slam on the brakes, honestly. I wanted to actually hold S and stop, but apparently I can't do that in the gunner view. I can go forward, but I can't go backwards. And as you can see here, playing Heavy Fighter and being engaged by, well, fighter planes is basically instant death. Another reason why I don't necessarily enjoy playing Heavy Fighters. Really, you have to be very, very careful about where you place yourself, or you're just gonna, well, die. And that's actually really frustrating half the time. Or rather, all of the time. Not half the time, all of the time. Having to pay an extreme amount of attention to where I am and what I'm doing. Really, it might seem balanced in some strange sense of the word, but a lot of people don't have to deal with that. As you can see, half of those cannon shells didn't actually even connect with it. It's something to do with the orientation of the guns in this plane, and also with the lack of aim assist. Because it seems like I have to actually lead a lot more than any other plane that I've actually flown in order to hit with even the machine guns.
A line of thunderstorms is approaching. We'll soon be unable to
even though the machine guns are actually in the nose, and I shouldn't have any problems with that. Okay, there's that. We're not doing terribly well, and the game's gonna end before we really accomplish anything. But, well, we've got plenty of premium planes to play today. So even if we don't have the best showing here, well, there'll be other times. Okay, well, we have the mining facility, though. It's probably already too late, but, well, we could always keep trying, and oh boy.
That's it. There's no way to break.
What is it with these guys and them kind of... That's a bot, but that was a player, and at least you can get the head-ons. At least there's that. That's pretty easy to do. And this Blenheim, he's not getting away. However, I need to actually hit him in order to kill him. Now, see that? The shots just really have to go in. There's really no bullshitting this thing. And even sometimes when they seem like they went in, they don't. I didn't get that kill, but you saw that shot actually went in. Unfortunately, it seems like my judgments for one-shotting things were a bit misplaced with Tier 4 aircraft. You cannot, in fact, one-shot Tier 4 aircraft. My mistake. False advertising. You see, I'm shooting and it's just not happening. I mean, this is probably the hardest actual engagement range. Like, you see, I'm still bad at shooting at this range in general, even with the yaks. But it just seems particularly bad in this plane. Also, it might have something to do with the aircraft that I'm shooting at are also very small. Like the ice shacks. Well, they're all dead. Well, it looks like that's it for us today. And, any second now? Yes, yes, 6. There we go. Close, but not close enough.
Fall back and regroup.
Well, 7,000 combat points. Not terrible. But not the most amazing start to our adventures here that I could have managed. Especially in a high caliber cannon plane. I should be better at these things. But like I said, the BF-110 is significantly harder to play than the Yaks. But anyway, back to hangar, and I'll just do some math on the side here. Okay. Kind of a mediocre first game, but we still managed to score pretty high on the podium here. We're not slumming it, but we didn't exactly win the day for our team either. I don't think the BF-110 C-6 is a bad aircraft. As you can see, though, it's just kind of difficult to fly and hit things. More so than the Yaks, which is the point that I was trying to get. I actually do enjoy flying this, it's just really, really goddamn hard. But, next on the list of planes that we have here, considering that we've already seen the I-2074, but if we have some time left over, I suppose I'll come back and play the other premium planes that I have in my garage, not just the new ones. But, next on the list of Tier 4, we have the XF4F-3. Sorry. brain stop. This is the, denoted by the X, I suppose, the Wildcat prototype. I got this out of a pack with a couple of other carrier aircraft, one of which is very terrifying at Tier 5, and the other one is kind of mediocre at Tier 5, even though it does have very good bonuses. But this is the Wildcat prototype, and more or less what this is the Tier 5 airframe and engine down-tiered to Tier 4. The problem is, unfortunately, we kind of have really piss-poor firepower, though I don't think the Wildcat prototype is actually all that worse off in comparison, even though we could have two more 50 cals instead of the 7.62s. But I don't have any equipment on this plane. And since we're only going to be playing it for one game currently, I'm going to hold off on the equipment. However, what we do need is consumables. Now, the one thing about American fighters is that they are all energy fighters, for the most part. There are some turn fighters in there, but most of them are high-altitude energy fighters. It means they go up and down really good, but they don't go left and right very good. So, have that selected. And the Wildcat prototype isn't that bad off, but the Tier 5 Corsair prototype I particularly do not like, because it gets a really nice engine and really nice airspeed. It's just that the armament is the same as this thing, and realistically speaking, this is a turn fighter's armament, honestly. This is something that you need to sit behind somebody in order to do a significant amount of damage to kill people. When you have that mixed into an energy fighter, what you get is a really, really long, protracted, repeated boom and zoom engagement, which is... it's boring to do, and also, it takes so long that it feels just generally ineffective. But I don't think the Wildcat has that problem. But let's go see what we can manage in this plane. Alright. Seagate, the port, which means this is going to be a Tier 4 to Tier 3 match. Good, good. Lower tier opponents, which is basically what this plane is supposed to be really... This is the entire advantage of this plane. You have a Tier 5 airframe and engine that gives you the airspeed of a Tier 5 plane, but you have the armament and survivability of a Tier 4 plane. You're supposed to use the speed advantage to run circles around the biplanes. Or rather, the much slower aircraft. This is what it's supposed to be. This is the advantage that you're buying with this plane. This is the reason why you'd buy this plane and, say, the Corsair prototype. However, I don't think they're as effective as they could be.
The front line. Off we go.
But in terms of outrunning the interwar biplanes and monoplanes, yeah, you'll do the job. But let's see what we can manage here. Okay, we'll start with the lights. Excuse me, I'm trying to dogfight your comrade here. As you can see, it maneuvers like a fucking boat, even with the control surfaces. But, honestly, the Wildcat doesn't seem all that bad. I actually quite like this plane at Tier 4. I don't really want to play it all that much because I favor turn fighters more than energy fighters, and the armament is very decidedly a turn fighter armament. But, well, it gets the job done at least. I suppose this thing and the Corsair prototype are more or less hybrid heavy fighters, more or less. The Corsair, in particular, has a very long boost, which you can, well, you can use pretty gratuitously to get around to places and also give yourself altitude advantages and things like that. It's useful there. However, I think the armament problems with that plane at Tier 5 are really too big to ignore. This plane, however, I think this plane can get away with it. What I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna get rid of this fucking Blenheim in between all these swarms of biplanes. Get this one because it's damaged and right in front of me. And help out with this one.
We've taken control of the airfield.
Unfortunately, that means all my free points explode in the air. Oh, no. It's a great celebration, however, it means I'm not getting paid anymore. I need those. Okay, so... Well, we've got a lot of planes over there, and I know from the first game that I'm not gonna go over there no matter how brave I am. Not in this plane, either. It looks like... Well, my teammates, or rather the bots, seem like they Well, actually, no. They've been... they lost tracking on the enemy and decided to switch immediately to the ground attack plane. And nope, there they go again. Up, down, they're hunter-killer machines. That is a 0, and it's also a player, so I'm gonna get rid of that. Haha! Welcome to the Pacific Theater! Oh boy, this is bad. What the hell is that? Oh great, a British plane. It's a bot! We might be able to, yeah, screw with him because he just walked away from us. He just decided he wanted to kill somebody else. Unfortunately, I seem to have stalled here. I used my boost too much and now I don't have enough of it to save my ass. Or rather, to get myself out of that stall situation. But, we're still fine. We're alive. The enemy's retreated. And now we're gonna shoot holes in this guy. While trying not to fucking overshoot him, but he has a slower dive speed than us. But look at that, he conveniently pulled up at the right time. Thanks, buddy. Who says the bots aren't helpful? Okay, there's that. As you can see, this plane, it gets the job done. So, if you wanted this Wildcat, I'd say get it. I mean, be very wary of where you put the damn thing, because it's not exactly gonna get itself out of a situation fast if you get too far into it. But, or rather, it can, because it's fast, but, if you need to shoot your way out of a situation, it's probably not the best choice. But if you want well, I suppose an American sports car, one that goes really fast in one direction but cannot turn, this is the plane you'd be looking for. However, this Blenheim is back here, and also all of the enemy uh-oh, 0. Once again, we've come back to the South Pacific. Uh-oh. Good! He has cannons. And also the defense aircraft. Ow. Ah! It's 1941 all over again. But oh well, we'll respawn. You see, that's how we won the war. We had more planes than the Japanese. We just kept throwing them at them. We also learned how to properly energy fight as well. That's something that saved our asses. And it also, in addition to just making better planes, like the Hellcat, which is conspicuously absent from the video game currently. Boy, that'd be helpful. But, let's see, yeah, there we go. Welcome to Coral Sea! Okay, so now we got a couple of planes here to deal with. I'd like to be able to turn better, please, but, you know, Wildcat. American fighters. What is turning? Uh-oh. Direct! Looks like I came off slightly better from that. Okay, I'm gonna get away from him, because I know I can kind of outrun him. But, uh-oh. That is... I don't want to go head-on with fucking Hispanos. This is something I do not wish to do. However, piddly little German machine guns, that I can do. It would seem as though also... I seem to have misspoke about the durability of this plane. It seems to be quite high. I didn't compare the numbers beforehand, though, but this plane, well, it's not the glassy planes that I've been kind of frustrated with flying into AA and getting annoyed, but it might be a lower tier.
Hang in there. You'll soon be cut off from support.
It might be the lower tier, AA giving me a fucking break. That's a bomber up there, but somebody's got that already.
They've almost got us.
We need to start capturing points here, or we're not gonna make it, though. I'm going this way. I need to summon the bots. The bots are not following me. They're all going to the middle towards a kill ball. Oh boy. However, there's some damaged here. I think I could probably... I won't be able to kill all of them, but you know what? If I don't do it, we're not gonna win. So...
There's a heavy storm here. Unable to proceed.
These are the stakes!
Do you copy?
Hey! Well, look at that. I managed to actually pull that one out. But are we going to win, though? I have no idea. We need to stop the enemy from actually gaining any points, I think, for a while in order to actually get through this. But, still plenty of enemy planes left. So let's, try to use our advantage here. I would hesitantly call the Wildcat a high-altitude fighter, but, you know, it might have some advantages up here. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to basically shoot down the vast majority of the enemy planes now, I think, to stop them from actually gaining their points back. Those guys seemed very, very, very determined to kill that goddamn Blenheim. Good on them. So somebody is going to do that job. However, by the looks of things down there, we might lose the airfield. And that's still a very big ball of enemies. I'm not going near it. That's 0. Oh boy. I may be putting myself into a bad situation here, but we need to get through this. Wah! Okay, now I need to go. Remember, do not turn fight with the 0. Ignore 0 posts. Ignore 0 posters. Sage 0 threads. And look at that. Our historical advantage actually works today. He's going to keep fucking following us, but at least we might be able to lead him into a situation where we're not the only thing he can concentrate on. I don't think that's gonna work out, though. But it looks like the 0 has indeed fucked off. Good. You'll pay for your lack of diligence one day, weeb. However, I'm being shot to shit by this fucking Blenheim's tail gun. Come on, drop. Drop! Good. Uh-oh. What's that? That's a bot. This guy I'm worried about, though. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. It's gonna be close. Aha! God damn it! Wait. Oh, boy. Oh, hey. Oh. Oh. Hey!
I'm proud of you, pilots. Head back home.
Freedom wins the day, and also 10,000. Good! More of those and we'll be done. Well, looks like my efforts did actually save my team's ass there. How about that? Well, Wildcat, I think you get a good bill of health for the people on YouTube, don't you guys think? I suppose that's one to pick up if you like tier 4 planes. But, anyway, back to hangar, and let me get my pen here. Okay. Once again, without upgrades, not a bad showing from our friend the Wildcat at a tier 4 game. Basically the optimal situation. But you can see where the plane has some advantages, and the downsides of not having as much kill power aren't really that hard to are kind of hard to notice, at least at this tier. Tier 5 Corsair prototype, as we'll get to, yeah, you'll start to see where there might be some issues. But Wildcat, perfectly fine. You want it? Go buy it, I say. But we've got 10,770 points, not the highest on our team, but a significant dent, and that brings us to 18,130 total combat points. So, we're just short of a quarter of the way to our goal, but we still got plenty of planes to play, so let's keep going. Now we're going to move up to tier 5 for the moment, because these are where the interesting planes that I have are located, and we're going to play something that, well, honestly, we're going to play something that I think is probably one of the most broken premiums I actually own. We're going to play the A6M3 Experimental, or as someone called it, and I've actually latched on to calling it as well, the Cosmos Zero. What's going on with this plane? Well, aside from being a very good Space Battleship Yamato reference, just being weebs and nerds in the corner, this plane is a Zero with two 30mm cannons in the wings. As you can see right here. Swapping out the usual 20mm cannons that the Zeros of this tier and around also have. The stats don't look all that shocking. I mean, they're 30mm cannons, so they're going to do a lot of damage. But, what's the problem here, Fonto? Well, the problem is, it's a Zero, which means that we have obnoxious turning ability. And we also have very, very high damage cannons. So, playing this plane it's not about if I'm going to do well or not. That's not the question I asked myself going into this plane. The question is, how high can I make the numbers go? So let's see how high we can make the numbers go, since they matter today.